Yo, what is happening, everybody? This is Jimmy from the Gym Boss podcast, all fitness, sales, marketing stuff for your gyms, fitness businesses. And today, this is the 3 steps to hitting and exceeding 100 new members in your gym or fitness business, and how to remove the overwhelm in the same process. Because if you don't do this, it's just going to be a target and it's going to be hard to achieve. So how do you do it? I'm going to show you in this video the 3 things, the 3 steps process that you need to go through, and the number one major consideration that people forget when they go about setting targets for their gym members or for their fitness facilities or whatever business that they have. There's the major consideration. So the 3 steps and the one overarching thing that you need to consider. So I'm going to get stuck into this. And before we do, remember, this is free. So if you have going to get value from this, make sure you share it with a friend. Tag them in it. And same, if you're on the podcast, just screenshot it, share it on Instagram, tag me at @TheJimmyHalley, and let me know so that way I can continue to make this content for you. So how did this come about? I'm going to tell you a quick backstory of why I got the inspiration for this post, and then I'm going to get stuck into the meat of it, right? So speaking to a potential client today, marketing client, we've had a couple of phone calls together and been in the business for a while and has stagnated. For the last 2 years, pretty much membership hasn't grown. It's stayed at the same. And he had a target. He wanted to get 100 new members, wanted to crack 100. And it was all overwhelming. It was too hard work. It was this big, massive goal that was like weighing him down. And having big goals is great. Beck is on. Good to see you, Beck. Having massive goals for your business is fantastic, for your gym or whatever. But you have to understand these next 3 steps. Otherwise, it's just going to be a pipe dream and you're not going to actually be able to get there. Brent, you was on as well. Good to see you guys. And he was just really stuck. And I was just like, mate, we need to break it down for you. Now, this guy did not end up becoming a client. But this is the exact step. This is exactly the process I was going to actually take him through if he was to become a client. And this is, now I'm going to show you here right now exactly how it would happen. So this is how we can remove the overwhelm. Step 1, okay? Step 1 is you got to have a target. Right? If we don't have a target, how the hell do you know what you're aiming at? And so it's pretty simple to start with. Our big target is 100 members. But that's usually where most people stop, okay? Because if you don't know what you're aiming at, if you're just going through day to day in your business and like, I just want more members. I just want more members. I just want more money. I just want more. Get specific. Get specific, okay? So you want to have a target. Simple. We've got that there. Have a target. Now, step 2 of this is we need to actually split the target into sales targets and marketing targets because they work hand in hand. Because if we don't break it down into the 2 departments like that, then we don't know what we're doing. So that's split into sales and marketing. Split sales and marketing. All right. So that's number 2. So how do we split that into sales and marketing? You have to have some sort of data pool to work from. So this comes down, we're going to break it down into numbers, right? So if you know that, you've got to hit 100 members, how many leads do you need to get to those 100 members? How many conversations do you need to have to get to that 100 members? So let's just use some rough ballpark figures, okay? So rough ballpark figures, let's just say, I'm going to write some numbers on the board here. So if you're on the podcast, I'll talk it out as we're going. So you don't need to see the whiteboard, but I'm going to write it out here anyway. So I'm just going to go like this. 100 members, 100 sales, and we need to go into, let's call it, you're signing up, let's say out of your consultations, 1 out of 2. So 50%. So you need 200 consults. Excuse the poor handwriting. 200 consults, okay? So now let's just say, out of how many leads do I need to get those 200 consults? So maybe we can break it down even more, like how many conversations do you need to have to get the consultation booked in? So that's just go off 50% again. So let's just say you need to have 400 conversations to book in to get 200 consults. Let's go like that. 400 combos. Now I'm just doing these to keep it simple for math. So each business is going to be different, and we do it specifically for your business. But this is just to give you an idea of how it goes. So 100 sales, we need 200 consults, and we need 400 conversations. Now, to get 400 conversations, how many leads do we need to get? Okay, let's just go with the 50% again. Okay, let's just say we need 800 leads. Okay, so now we're starting to go, okay, I need to get 800 leads to get 100 sales. So that means essentially you're selling 1 out of 8. Now, heaps of people are doing way better than that, but I'm just using this for an example. Some people are doing 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 2, some businesses I've seen, depending on where you're at. But this is just for a really basic, simple example, okay? So 100 sales means we need 200 consults, which means we need to have 400 conversations on the phone, and then we need to have 800 leads. Now let's go like this. How much is that going to cost us? So we've got sales and consults, we've got conversations, that's all sales, those 3, and leads comes into marketing, and so does cost per lead. So if we have a cost per lead of just, let's call it $10, you need $8,000. So we go $10 CPL, which means $8,000 ad spend. All right, so this probably come off the screen there a little bit. There we go. So you get $8,000 ad spend. So now we've got our whole chart here. 100 sales, 200 consults, 400 combos, 800 leads, $10 cost per lead, which means you need a total of $8,000. Does that mean that you need to have that $8,000 right here, right now? No, but over time, however long you want to take to get that, that's how much you're going to have to invest into your marketing to be able to get that. That's just on your advertising costs, okay? That's not somebody doing it for you. But if you're doing it yourself, that's all you need to do. But if you hire someone like me, you've got the consultant fees on top of that, all right? So, or the agency fees on top of that. But push that aside for this example. So now that's 2 parts of it. So we've got the target. Now we split it into sales and marketing. So we broke it down. Now here's the next part. We need to actually put it into step 3. This is one of probably the most important part, and this is how we remove the overwhelm, okay? I'm gonna go over this side. Okay, the overwhelm comes in when you look at that number and you're like, shit, I need $8,000 to invest in marketing. There's no way I can do that. And then you're like, okay, let's break it down, and let's just say you wanna hit that target in, let's go for easy mathematics for my head, let's go 10 weeks, okay? You want to get 10 new members a week for 10 weeks back to back. It's a big target. A lot of gyms are doing it, but let's just show you what it could look like that. So 10 weeks, this is part 3, reverse engineer it, okay? Reverse engineer, okay? So 10 weeks is the 10 weeks there. We're going to have 10 sales per week, right? So we're going to break it down into how long it's going to take us on a weekly basis. 10 sales per week. We need to have 20 consults. We need to have 40 conversations. And we need to have 80 leads. Still going at the $10 per lead. We'll just go over that example for now. And that means we need to have $800. Right, so that's what we need on a weekly basis. Now, to go back, so you've got a target of 100 new members, and you want to do it in, let's say, 10 weeks. So that means we need to have 10 sales actually that week to hit the target. You need to have 20 consults booked in. You need to have 40 conversations, and you need to have 80 leads for a total of $800 ad spend. That's kind of on the high side, but I'm giving you like a real aggressive example and also a real easy example for me with the maths. So that's part 3 of the process. Now, what we can do is we can now break this down into daily increments. Now, I'm not that skilled, so I'm going to quickly whip out the calculator, and the daily increments are going to go like this. And the daily is where it becomes very manageable. So per day, we need to get, so 10 divided by 7, we'll call it 1.5 sales, or 1.4. 1.5, and then we need to have 20 divided by 7 is 2.8. 40 divided by 7 is 5. So we need 1.5 sales a day. We need 2.8 consults booked in a day. So if you want to, you can just round these up, okay? We need 5 or 6 conversations per day. Then the leads, we need to have 80 divided by 7. We need 11, we'll round that up and say 12 leads. So I'll round these numbers up. So we need 6. This one we need 3. And we need 2. So to round it up, to make it easy, nice round numbers, you need 2 sales a day. You need 3 conversations a day. You need 6. Sorry, let me start again. You need 2 sales a day. You need 3 consultations a day. You need 6 conversations on the phone per day to book in those consults. And then you'll need to generate 12 leads a day. And for a daily ad spend, you need to have $115. There we have it. That is step 3, and probably the most important part is how we reverse engineer it, okay? And this is the part where we remove the overwhelm. So you've got this big target, okay, 100 people. How do I get 100 people into my gym? Well, okay, first of all, we've got that step 1, you've got the target. Step 2 is, okay, split it into sales and marketing. So we split it down into sales and marketing. So these here are all our sales things, and these are all our marketing, where we've got the ad spend, the cost per lead, and the leads. That's our marketing KPIs. That's our 3 things there. And then our sales KPIs are how many sales, how many consultations, and how many conversations, right? So they're the things that we look at. Then you just need to reverse engineer it, which is the third part of this. Break it down into weekly and then daily. Break it down into daily. Now, the number one thing that everybody forgets when doing this isn't assuming that, and this is the most critical part, this is not assuming that anybody is going to leave your business in that time. There's no attrition. There's no churn, or whatever term I hate the word churn, but there's no attrition. There's you're just expecting that every single person is going to stay in your business. Now, what we do with this, quite simply, instead of going through a big, massive, precise calculation of 6%, or whatever, just add 10% to everything. Add 10%, because if your gym or fitness business is doing even just an okay job, you should have an attrition rate of 10%, if not better. If it's over 10%, then we need to forget this marketing process and we need to look at what's going on in your gym, because that's atrocious, okay? So let's just assume that you're operating quite well and you've got 10% or if not better. And guess what? If we have targets and you're doing better than 10% attrition each month, well, then that's just a bonus. So all you need to do for these numbers is just add 10%. And because we've rounded up over here, that's your 10%. We can call it that. So now we've actually rounded up the numbers and you are good to go. So anyways, this is Jimmy. I hope you've got a lot of value from this. There's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of stuff in there, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I want you, if you need to, pause this, go back, rewatch the recording, and understand this. So that's your 3 steps. Have a target, split it into sales and marketing, and number 3 is reverse engineer it. And the overarching thing that everybody forgets is add 10% to your targets to account for attrition. And I'm going to set it off like this. One final thing here. Ooh, I've got something on the other side of the whiteboard right here, guys. So what's happening is having your big goal, your big prize at the end, and having that without doing all of this is exactly what happened to this this potential client. Is he had the goal, didn't break it down, and got so overwhelmed. When we break it down, it's like you're on the highway, right? You're on the highway, you're in the car, and you want to go from point A to point B. So how do you get there? Well, first of all, you got to have a nav man or a GPS, right? So you got to know where you're going. But let's just say it's nighttime and you can't see. So you've got your headlights on. The nav man, the GPS, is your plan that we've broken down. It's got everything. It's got the big targets broken down into small targets, everything. It's the roadmap to take you where you want to get to. But you can't see the end result. You can't see it yet. You can't see it. You're not there yet. But what those daily KPIs are, those daily breakdown of numbers, is like you with your headlights, because you can only see 30, 40, 50 meters ahead of front of you. But you trust that, you know that once I hit those 40, 50 meters, it's going to take me to the next 40, 50 meters. And you don't need to see the whole entire road. You just need to be able to see what's right in front of you right now and then take action on that. And that's exactly what you need to do with running your business, with growing your gym, is to have those daily things and only need to see right ahead. But you've got the roadmap that's taking you there, which is your GPS as well. And you will get to your 100 members. You will grow to that and beyond if you follow this process. If you have got as much value out of this, or enjoyment out of this as much as I enjoyed making it for you, share it. As I said at the start, share it. Tag somebody that needs to hear this, somebody that needs to see this. This one's a little bit longer. We've gone for 16 minutes because it's jam-packed full of value. So that helps me be able to make more of these because I know that it's the right thing that people want. Anyways, this is Jimmy. Peace. Love you all. See you all on the next one.